in 2015, I was sleeping on the floor of an airport. And it wasn't because I was trying to be cute or trying to, get discovered or get a movie going. It was because I had nowhere else to go. And I thought, where can I go where there is shelter, where there is safety, and where I can blend in? And I told myself, I'm someone who missed their flight, and I'm simply here. I'm simply here waiting on my next flight. I don't want to make you sad, but that's what I told myself. That's what got me through that. And I had no investors. I had no platform. I say I had no audience. I had an audience from a different life, but I had certainly no investor audience, no startup audience. And the thesis was, I want to get more money and resources into the hands of entrepreneurs who look like me, who are Black and brown, who are women, who are LGBTQ+, who are other. And that's because I learned several years ago that less than 10% of all venture funding goes to all of those people I just listed in the United States, where we make up the majority if you put us all together. So that was the thesis, but it was like, oh, let me raise $1 million fund versus, but I'm sleeping on the floor of an airport. And what we're here 10 and a half years later, we're actually going into the 11th year. Wow. Almost 11 years later, and we're all here, right? So there's still more to go, right? There's still more for me to achieve. But the reason I'm here, I believe, is because I was building authority all along the way. And that is why it's so important to me to get that across to you all. We can call it different things, and I teach on YouTube. I do a video every day almost, and we have a school, and we have all of that, but it all comes down to this, in my opinion. So today, after that, 200 plus startups. I stopped counting at 200. It's on a ledger somewhere, but I stopped counting at 200 startup investments, 4 published books. This is the 4th. And hundreds of entrepreneurs that have helped reach 10K months or more, 10K or more months, and certainly thousands, if not hundreds of thousands that have hopefully helped. Because authority compounds. Now, for Elizabeth, if you wouldn't mind also doing kind of a side-by-side of this feed, if it's possible, that'd be awesome. So the person people go to, you become the person that people trust, they listen to, and then they pay you. That's it. Is that simple? So everybody wrap, we're wrapped. Good to go. Everybody know what we're doing. But there is a window, and I talk about this in the book. There is a window, and in my opinion, and in a lot of other people's opinion, it's a 12 to 18 month window. That's not to say that you can't succeed past that. It's to say that we have an opportunity like no other. The tools that are available to us today, there's never been a time like this before in our lives, and I don't think there's going to be, because as AI gets better, I think there's going to be some things that come along with that are going to counter it. So I do think we're going to be in this sort of really special period the next 12 to 18 months, and it's not going to stay open forever. So I want us to start, or not start, I want us to continue building authority, because I believe we have all been building authority this whole time. Does anybody agree with that? Anybody agree that what you know already has been contributing to what your authority is, right? A lot of times I'll hear people say, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I'm just a teacher. That's the one that gets to me the most. I'm just a teacher. Oh my goodness. So it's like teacher is misspelled saint, in my opinion. A good teacher is a misspelled saint. But all these things that we've done, those 20, 30 years you've done in corporate, that's all building authority. You are becoming known for something. And it's just about how can we package it, and how can we just figure out how we can help other people with it. So my book, Arlan's Authority Playbook. Again, let me see who has the book already in the audience. Okay, and let me see online. I know there's a little bit of a delay. Please put your hand in the air if you do not have the book yet. If I did not give you the book yesterday, please put your hand in the air if you are able to. And if you're not able to, but you fit that, just call out to us. So the team is handing out copies of the book. Yes, yes. And I know y'all at home are getting your books. I will sign them later. Yes. Let's make sure everybody got, I think there's one. Yes. Come here. Come sit right here. Come here. show the book. Show the book. Yeah. Hey, Spencer, it's nice to meet you in person. Yeah, the mic's right. The mic is right next to you.
We met at ROI.
Did we meet at ROI?
Yeah,
oh,
super
cool.
Kind and gave me 5 minutes of your time.
I did.
I was Spencer. My name is Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer. And so, is this your first time you're holding the book?
This is the first time I'm holding the book.
Yeah. How does it feel to you?
It feels authoritative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's buzzing with power.
Yes. Cool. Well, I hope everybody enjoys it. Please put your name in the book if you're in person here, because we're going to have all these books floating around. And you ain't getting a second one, okay? You lost it, you heard? Tell us a little bit about being an inner circle.
Being in an inner circle is great. It's a very supportive community. You can always...
Bring it up.
There it is, yes.
Yeah.
You can always bring your questions. You can always jump in, and you don't have to be at any place in your career. You can be at the beginning, you can be well established, and you can just come in, share what's going on with you right there in the moment, and get feedback immediately, which allows you to fail fast and make moves.
And it's about being with these other people too, like the other people in Inner Circle. And I'm not the first person to have an Inner Circle program, but that's really what you go to, like why people come to these events or why people are online, is that like, what can I learn from the other person, not just the host? Yeah. And that's what I really love, is like we've put together such an amazing group of people. So just wanted to say hi and say hi. Nice to see you again.
Hi, folks. Yeah, nice to see you again. Take care.
All right. So how are we liking the feel of the book? I'm very proud of the feel of the book, so I just have to hear that. We're gonna actually have I'm gonna have a fireside later today. And just a little programming note, we were going to have Terry Ijeoma today, but she's actually going to come in tomorrow. So make sure you're here tomorrow to see Terry Ijeoma. If you're not familiar, you will be. I'll just say this: $60 million cash collected in the last few years. So we're going to have my fireside later today, and I'll talk more about really why I chose this topic, but I want us to think about these pillars for ourselves. So it's very simple, and I know I teach a lot, I know I have a lot of things going, but it really does come back to 3 or 4 main things. For the pillars of building your authority, we have your offer, your audience, which is like the most important part. It comes back, like everything starts and ends with your audience. We get caught up in the offer, like what am I going to sell? How do I sell it? How do I build it? How do I optimize it? How do I promote it? But what we don't get to talk about enough is our audience. I love our posts and our memberships where we talk about like, hey, tell us about your members of your school. Tell us about the last 10 people that you worked with who were in your audience. Like, to me, that if you can come back to that, it's more than a North Star. It's like the core of everything. It's very grounding. And then you have your sales. If you don't ask, you don't get. Closed mouths don't get fed. A lot of people do not like to sell. But as you'll see in a little bit, sales is nothing but conversations at the end of the day. Some type of conversation, some type of exchange between 2 humans at the end of the day. And then your AI kit, which is the opposite of that, opposite of human, Your AI toolkit, which is those 12 to 18 months where I think there's so much, and you hear it every day, you hear it all day long about AI. There's nothing I can say to you about the foundation of AI that you haven't heard yet, I think. But I do think that there are some ways that we can use AI that we haven't started yet. And then your YouTube channel. Who here has a YouTube channel? Yes. And I know this audience online, we're going to try to convince you to put your first video up in the next few days, okay? Who's putting up a video today? Anybody? Oh, really? Amazing. What's your video going to be about, Carmen?
It's going to be a story about how I got a psychic reading from a dog.
Come up here. I'm just going to take 60 seconds and understand what's going on. So say that into the mic, please. Hi.
I filmed it yesterday. Hello.
Okay. What's up?
So I'm sharing a story about how I got a psychic reading from a dog.
Okay.
Yes.
So how did you get a psychic reading from a dog?
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
I was at the Conscious Life Expo, and it was early. It had just opened up. And I'm walking around and I have to talk to every dog and look at every baby.
Yes.
And so I passed by a lady who has a dog and a baby Bjorn across her chest. And so I'm like, oh, baby, to the dog. And the dog puts his paws on my arm. And she's like, oh, he doesn't do this. And I'm like, okay.
Oh.
And then the dog and the lady look at each other and she's like, he told me your dog needs a bath. And I'm like, okay. And then she goes, and you need to clean out your fridge. And I said, okay. And then she goes, you want to have a baby, but whoever you're dating isn't it.
We were not expecting that. I don't.
And so the next day I take my dog to this doggy hangout play date thing.
Yeah.
And it's the first time he gets so muddy that I have to give him a bath. And then I look at the fridge and I clean out the fridge and it just felt so amazing. And then I went, oh, it's one of my favorite analogies.
Yeah,
you got to clean out your fridge.
Yeah.
Like in terms of you got to get rid of your limiting beliefs before you can install new, better beliefs.
Sure.
And I was like, okay. And the same day that she said that, I was on a date with the guy that I was seeing at the time.
Yeah.
And he said something and I was like, this is complete.
Wonderful. The only question I have, because I believe every word, is she not giving herself enough credit for having given you the reading?
Maybe. I will never, we didn't exchange information.
We'll never know.
No, I will never know.
When the dog looked at her, was it like a knowing, like, you know what to do?
They were connecting.
Yeah, there was a
like,
soul connection.
And then she was like, he's saying this. And I was like, this is
Okay, listen.
interesting.
This is going to be the best YouTube video ever. Love it. Fantastic. We'll have you come up a little bit later. We'll talk more. But thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
What's your channel? What's your channel?
It's called Carmen Scott Show, and it will be a short.
Carmen Scott Show. Okay, amazing. You just never know. You just never know what's going to happen. I think there's like 4 or 5 people in the audience who are like, what can I yell out where I can talk about my beauty brand? All right. So let's talk about your offer just a little bit. So you already have one. You may have not found it yet. You may. How many people here have an offer they feel good about? Okay, about half the room in the audience is what I'm seeing. So everybody who didn't put their hand up, the cool news is that you actually do have an offer. It's just we haven't pulled it out of you yet. You know, it's there though. One way you can do this, and this is just a quick way of describing what goes into deep detail in the book. Many of you have listened to the audio version. Many of you have already got your book in physical copy 2 days ago and have already finished it there. I've been getting all the messages. I've been looking at all your comments at night. But this is the lab framework that I've been talking about for about a year, which is what have you learned to find your offer? What is something that you have learned? I want everybody to think about this, especially if you don't have your offer. What is something that you have learned already by doing, by being around it, by being curious, or by necessity? And that same thing, have you applied it in your life? Have you used it? Has it worked for you? Maybe it's worked for someone else because it didn't apply to you, but you are the one who helped them with it. And then has it benefited you or that person? Did it produce a result? It's a very simple way of thinking about it. I always go back to this when I'm thinking about not just new products, or new offers, but like different ways to frame offers. And when you start thinking about it, there's like more than one thing, and then it becomes like, what do I choose? But you really have something there. So many people who are locked, and you feel like, I'm blocked, I do not know what I'm supposed to be, I don't know what I'm supposed to present to the world as an entrepreneur. You actually do. And this is, like I said, a very, very simplified version of what is very much so in detail in the book. So I highly, highly encourage you to get the book. You can get it at Stan Store. So stan.store/Arlan. I know we'll put that in the chat. And speaking of Stan, we're going to have the CEO, founder of Stan in the building tomorrow. That's pretty cool, right? Really cool. Okay. So then you can have authority, and most of us do. I can't think of anyone who doesn't in this room, especially the older you get. Like, obviously you can have authority earlier, but we start to count ourselves out the older we get. And I had a video up. I think the thumbnail said, turn your knowledge into a business. And I looked at the thumbnail. It was an interview with Niza. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I want to say she's 57 or 67, one of the two. And she was able to book about $10,000 worth of her offer after she took Your First 5K curriculum. And I changed the thumbnail to say, not take your, use your knowledge for business. I said, use your wisdom for business. Because she said in that interview, which I thought was so cool, and I won't forget it. She said that she was giving people advice. I want y'all to tell me if this reminds you of anything. She was giving people advice because she thought that's what you do when you get older. You just give out free advice as the elder. And she's like, I can't package that. I can't charge for that. And then we changed her mind. And she sent out a couple of texts. I think she sent out 5 text messages, and she made like $5,000 in like a day, booked $5,000 a day. And then she kept going because I think it was 3,500. And then someone else came up to her, and they had worked with her in the past, and she said what she was doing for this other person. They said, oh, I need that too. And they did it. And she said, it was this unlock for her. And I don't know when that happened for her, but I think that's so interesting. Anybody here feel that way? Like, the older, I feel that way. Like, I want to do that. And it's not to say you have to charge. Hey, if I'm going to answer a question, here's a jar, which isn't a bad idea. You could A/B test it. But it's not just a given. There's so much that you know that others may not know. So secrets don't pay the bills. Do we like this? Secrets don't pay the bills. So we're going to take content, community, collaboration, and capital, and together we're going to build authority. Now, every single one of those is also deep dive in the book. Deep dive, deep dive. I'm seeing everybody. I haven't seen some of y'all yet, so I'm just, hey, yes, hey. So happy. Okay, we'll spend some good time together. Okay. So I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to see this. So, as I said before, sales in those pillars is just conversation. It's just a conversation at the end of the day. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, April. Sales is just conversations at the end of the day. It's, yes, you can have one-on-one calls, you can have one-on-one in person, but it really, even if you're doing YouTube, when I turn on the camera on Zoom for my daily YouTube videos, I look into the camera, into the lens, because it's a little awkward. Anybody find it awkward to talk to yourself or talk to the camera? So it's a little awkward. So what I do is, although, let's be fair, I do live in Los Angeles. So when we have all these windows in our home, my wife and I. So like, I'll talk to myself all day long, and I'm talking and I'm doing this and I'm planning, and nobody bats an eye because most people think you're practicing lines for something. But when you're sitting down to the camera for YouTube, even, that can be sales. And because what I do is I imagine one person, like, well, I'm doing that right now, like literally in this moment. I'm looking at a camera right now. I cannot see the people's faces coming back at me necessarily. I can see your chat, but I'm looking at you and I am thinking of one person. I'm thinking of one of you. It might change every few seconds or every few minutes, but that's how you do it. You're having a conversation. And it's one way to kind of take the stakes down a little bit for yourself. And ultimately, sales is a skill that you can build. And that really, to me, reassuring. Anybody who doesn't feel confident, does anybody know that I used to have really bad stage fright? Yeah, every single person here? Okay, fair. Every single person said yes. They're like, girl, you have said that so often. Secret. I don't keep secrets, right? Because they don't pay the bills. But if you don't know, in the chat, I used to have really, really bad stage fright. I talk about it in my first book, It's About Damn Time. My first of 4, by the way, in the last 6 years. Thank you. I will be doing a lot of bowing. You don't have to clap, but I will be doing a lot of bowing. But I talk about it in my first book. I mean, when I talk about stage, I'm trying to think if there's anybody here other than my family who would have known me of course, my family, like, so anybody who would have known me when I had stage fright, like, it was real, it was deep. I couldn't talk in front of like this front row. I would have been like, I don't know what to say. I can't, my heart would have pounded. I would have been so scared. And I did a few things, and the book talks about what I did, but one of the things I did was I just acquired more knowledge about the topic. And when I had more knowledge, whether I knew this was why or not, it was because I was afraid. One of the things that was holding me back was I was afraid I would sound dumb. When I was younger, I don't care if I sound dumb now. Like, every other sentence is going to sound a little weird because I don't care anymore. But I was afraid I'm not going to know the answer. And I was going to get scared on stage, and then what happens? And then it's silence, and then you hear yourself talking, and it's like ringing. So the more information and more preparation I had before I went out on stage or had something where I had to talk to several people, the better. It was just one part of it. And so there's some topic you know so much about that you could talk about for an hour and nobody could interrupt you. You wouldn't need notes. You wouldn't need any of that. The more conversations you have in sales, the more one-on-one conversations. We talk about this in day 2 and 4, days 2 and 4 of the $100 challenge, $100 offer challenge. The more one-on-one conversations you have, the easier they will become. Has anybody found that to be true? Yeah. Like, the more because it's been a while since I was nervous. So I want to make sure that it's still true. The more times you do something, the better at it you get, and the easier it is to do it for the most part. And that includes these sales conversations. So if you say to yourself, I'm too introverted for sales, or I don't know how to do sales. Okay, you could say that to yourself, or you could say, what would it take for me to become more comfortable with this? If it means having the bank account balance that I'd like to have, right? Because you can live with your discomfort, and you can live with your nerves, or you can do something about it. That's why I did it. That's why I beat the stage fright because I was missing out on so many opportunities. And I said, this is like a self-own. This is me self-sabotaging if I don't take advantage of these opportunities. Make sense, everybody? And yeah, like Fanny just said, just practice a lot. Yeah, that's what it is. Just do more of it. And one of the things I noticed as I was reading hundreds of comments yesterday on all of my schools, in text messages and DMs and everything, is that I just noticed that there's a lot of information coming at us. And so I want to sit in some of the conversation just to make sure that we're catching it all, right? So I'm going to pause just for a second before I keep going. Brendalyn, is there anything from the chat that you're noticing that, yeah, do you want to come up or do you want to yell at me? Yeah, okay, either way works for me. So we're going to bring Brendalyn King, aka BK. You may know her from Your First 5K as our lead coach in Your First 5K. Hey, Drew, I see you. Hey, how did it go? Went well? Cool. So you're going to hear from Drew tomorrow. Thank you. You're going to hear from Drew tomorrow because she's my business partner with Yacht Water Global and with Gym Blends. And we just had something. Can we talk about it? Can we say it just like really quickly? Like, can you just yell it out? And then we'll talk about it more tomorrow. Yes. Whoa. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what she said. I'm going to tell you what she said. So Drew said, there's a stadium in Los Angeles called BMO from the bank. And it's a huge stadium, has concerts. It has our women's and men's, which I didn't know there was a men's soccer league, but there's women and men's soccer. We get canceled and I get kicked out. And there's a director's box, which is where the owners stay. And I have season tickets there with my wife. And it's just a really cool place. A lot of people from Grey's Anatomy for some reason. A lot of people from Grey's Anatomy. It's just a really cool place. And what Drew just said, because I know you couldn't hear it on the camera, is that we are serving our gym blends, and you'll hear so much more about that tomorrow, but it's drinkgym, G-E-M, blends.com. Is it blends with an S or no? Yes, with an S.com. And we're serving that in a director's box. As of today, Drew just went to BMO Stadium, closed the deal, and she said we are the very first non-alcoholic adaptogen that they've ever served there. So that's so cool. You'll hear so much more about it tomorrow. I know there's a little detour, but I had to tell y'all. Thank y'all. Okay, Brendalyn, what are we hearing? And you have your mic. Great.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi in the room. I'm so in the chat. Okay. So a continuation a little bit from yesterday when we were talking about what gets in our way of recording. And so the audience right now is saying, okay, these are good behind the scenes tips about recording.
Yeah.
So now it seems like we're in a conversation about what am I saying to myself as I record so that I can display that comfort, that authenticity, that connection.
Yeah. Well, you do this, Brendalyn, because you do videos. I love your videos that you pop up to help people. You do our like intro video that helps people navigate Your First 5K, which has 25,000 plus people in it. And then you do these pop-ups because you do several calls per month, and you do something to get people. What do you do? How do you or what do you imagine, and how do you get yourself ready for that?
So I think the first thing yesterday that I took away and just want to remind everyone is have your hook and have your bullet points. That's all that
and
I
what's a hook
have
for anybody?
So for me, mine is going to be this video is about how to get started in the classroom.
Yeah. So if you think about a hook with a fish, but the hook is made of soft material, and you're hooking someone in. You're grabbing their attention.
That's
grabbing their attention with these first few words and visuals in some cases.
Yes. So I'm envisioning, especially in the digital space, people coming to the video. They just joined today and they're just clicking the video. So they don't have, they're coming in, if we're gonna say with the fish analogy, fish out of water. They're kind of coming in figuring out, okay, I probably watched a video from Arlan. Now I'm joining her community and all these people are saying something on the chat. So it matters for me to hook them because I want them to know this is good for your attention right now.
Yeah.
And so we're usually doing one of three things. We're usually doing, here's how to get started in the classroom.
we're usually doing, here's how to reset your month this month if you're feeling overwhelmed. It's a really good hook. A lot of people join that. And then we're usually doing, here's how to get off the fence, leveraging Arlan's story, come to book club.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that pulls people off the sidelines
Yeah.
also.
So if you think about YouTube and that hook, it's why I say don't spend a lot of time or any time at the beginning meandering over here to your point, because you do, like, your thumbnail and your title are like the most important, because you have to get somebody to click to see. But the very next thing is that hook, because people will drop out 2 seconds in if it's not interesting. 2 seconds in. So if you're somebody, by the way, who says, "Oh, I don't like long form because I like short form," you're actually better prepared for YouTube, because you know how to hook people, because you only get 10 seconds or 30 seconds in total.
And I think we have to move out of our own way when we think about, we might be boring to someone. Like that's like,
yeah, I'm completely boring to many people.
That's a truth. You have to just kind of say, yeah, people are going to skip past my video. And so it's not to not have a hook then, and it's not to start, but we're going to get bored if you just start talking.
Yeah.
And another thing, just in the chat here, I do think it's interesting to think about YouTube as, and I saw you like this comment earlier in our community, and someone said, "Oh, okay, my YouTube video engages people in my comments, and I send in my comments, I send them to my Stan store."
Exactly.
That was just.
It was like, yeah, that's like the whole thing.
That's the whole.
That's
right.
the classroom.
Yeah.
That's the entire classroom. And we're gonna get to talk to Callum Johnson. Who knows Callum Johnson? We're going to talk to Callum. Hopefully he will be on at about 2:30 Pacific, and we're going to talk all things YouTube. So we'll be able to really deep dive there.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we'll keep checking in with you. And thanks to everybody at home. Really, really appreciate y'all. That reminds me, if you are at home and you have not checked out our map feature in our different memberships, check out the map feature at the top, because you can actually meet people. A lot of the people in this room are connecting, right? They're going to dinners, they're going to hang out on the weekend. What if you look at the map, look at my resources about safety with the map, and what if you meet up with a couple of people from the membership who are close to you this weekend to talk about what you learned and to be accountability partners? That'd be pretty cool. I think that would be awesome. I love to see your pictures if you do that. We've had people doing that quite a bit, actually. So really cool. So then AI is your co-founder. We'll talk a lot about AI in a moment, and we'll talk about AI tomorrow with John from Stan, because they're doing some incredible things with their AI with Stan Store. So it's not going to be your replacement if you can make it your co-founder. Does that make sense? Right? If you can make it, it's leverage. This is all about leverage. This is all about leverage. I think Anna called me a nerd today. Did you call me a nerd, baby? Yeah, she called me a nerd. Yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like what I want you to understand is like how much I think about this stuff. And I think not just AI, the nerd part, but more like leverage. Like this is a leveraged moment. Like everything to me is measured in that. It's more my currency than money. It's like, how can I put a certain amount of effort to get an outsized amount of result? AI is one of those ways. AI is one of those ways. So we love ChatGPT. Some people don't like it, but we like ChatGPT, we like Claude, and we like Lovable. Everything you're seeing on these slides, by the way, that we're talking about, there's a deep dive in the book for each of them. So if you're curious about any of them, there's that. There's also all sorts of curriculum about it. And my free YouTube videos that are available at itsaboutdamntime.com. So YouTube is the foundation, and we'll talk to Callum about that too. So a video you post today builds trust with strangers while you sleep. That's the big, big, big takeaway. We talk about sales. Someone is, not someone, you are selling in your sleep, because you've built this asset that's doing the work for you. So yeah, you put a video up and you get 3 views and it bums you out and you stop. But what if you kept it up for 6 months, and in month 5, somebody sees it across the world and goes to your page that you have linked and they buy something for you? It's like, it really has nothing to do with the first day on YouTube or the first week or the first month. It's about building that authority and those assets over time. We had a really great conversation with my brother and my sister-in-law yesterday. Who was here for that? Anybody here for that? Really great conversation. They have two incredible YouTube channels, very, different from each other, and just built in similar ways, which is like you just stay at it. And the big takeaway was my brother has 1.5 million views. Angel has subscribers. Angel my sister-in-law has more than 50,000 subscribers. And the big takeaway was, how long do you work on it? And how do you work on it when you're only getting 5 views? Because everybody starts somewhere. You work on it for as long as it takes, but also like, if you don't give it 6 months or so of truly working on it every week, and I was going to say every day because that's really what I think it takes, then not to say you post every day, but you work on it. You learn, you apply, right? With lab framework on it every day. If you give it 6 months, something's going to break. Something will happen for you. If you're not, don't worry about getting 1 million views. Worry about getting the right views. Every single day, as I sit here, probably 6,000 to 10,000 people. No, 6,000 to 10,000 views. So maybe 1.5 views on average per person. So 5,000 people are going to watch my channel as I sit here over the next 24 hours. I will check my phone in a few hours and I'll have sales from people who I didn't have that one-on-one conversation with, but I had a conversation with from the asset that I leveraged. Is it all coming together here? Right? It's all of that. Okay, so authority is compounding. Has anybody seen my video about compounding interest and about the compound effect? That's a good, so if you go into your first 5K or Arlan's All Access and go to the search bar, you can do it later, just give yourself a note. If you go to the search bar at the top and you type in the word compounding or compound effect, I think one of those two, you should find in the classroom and post my video about the compound effect, how you do something a little bit at a time, a little bit a day, and how it builds. So I'll just tell you just briefly the big takeaway for me from it is, because I work in investment, I started to see that in the most absolute way, because you make these bets early days. You see nothing. In fact, you see things that scare you for years, and then some of them just go to the moon, right? And it takes so long. So what most people feel is, let's say we're going to talk about a year, 365 days. They feel like, okay, so if I do something today and I do something tomorrow and I do that, it's going to grow by this increment over times 365, basically. It's going to grow this way. What really happens is you do something long time, and then it starts going up. And of course, when it goes up, it goes down and up and down, but it's always trending up, because the compounding is not like, oh, and if it's, let's say it's April now, in December, it's going to be whatever 9 months worth is. Actually, what happens is, if you put the same amount of effort every day, what happens is, on a day in December, you have results that are much higher than today. Another way of thinking about it is April to December. If it's April results, it's not going to be December, I had those same results 9 times. It is, if I do the same thing, even if I'm not seeing results, at some point, let's call it December, I'm going to have outsized results. Is that making sense? Compound effect. Yes. Okay. So you have the experience, you've been giving it away for free. That was practice. Now it's time for profit. Anybody okay with that? So my question is, has anybody here in the chat or in the room, has anybody ever wanted to just send me a text message anytime you wanted and ask me questions about your business? Has anybody and Selena gets to it, she still said yes. Has anybody ever just wanted to say, I have a question, I wonder what Arlan what advice you would give me. You go look at my videos and you go into my classrooms and you find that advice. Hopefully you find a lot of that advice. But what if you could just ask me what the question was, what your question was? I want to bring to your attention Gail Allen. I still love this story. Just a few, I think she put this up maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So this happened more than once. If you're seeing this, you're maybe noticing deja vu. You do not have to read all of this. I just want you to see, because I'm going to tell you what she did. But the headline says, celebrating making $17,000 in 3 weeks. So do we like that 17,000 in 3 weeks? Gail is 69 years young, and she's been in Arlan's All Access, and then she's been in Your First 5K. And last year, about a year ago, we did an interview where she made a different 17,000 or 16,000 amount, or maybe it was 15 because it was 6, 6, and 3. And that was amazing how she did that. And then this year she made this post. And she basically said she had been making money from Your First 5K, but it wasn't consistent. And she was trying to figure out, how do I bring that magic back? And she went back to the core. I know I keep pushing the wrong button. She went back to the core. At the bottom, she says, all of this started from Arlan's challenge to make $100 offers. My mind is blown. People are blowing up my inbox on Facebook trying to get the replays of my free trainings, and also when the next lab starts. So I'm gonna tell you what she did. She has been on Substack. Anybody familiar with Gail? Yeah, so she has been on Substack for about a year and 2 months. She started February 2025. And that in itself was like a big risk and a big jump for her. But she had heard about Substack and she likes to write. And she decided to write about being 68 and not looking like she's 68 to most people, right? And I forgot, does anybody remember the name of her Substack? It's something funny like Old Lady Club or something like that. It's something to that effect. Maybe people know in the chat. But she started getting a lot of attention on Substack. And I won't tell you what happened before, but I'll tell you what happened this time. What happened this time is that because she started learning Substack about a year prior, and she's the most important part if you take nothing else away, she stuck with it. Most people are gonna say, okay, I started Substack in February. July, I'm done. It's over. We're done. She kept going. Now she becomes what on Substack? An authority. So she realized she was teaching others, but not charging for her own expertise in this topic. So she invited her Substack members to a free training. She had 3 trainings. It might have been the one training, 3 different invites, or 3 different trainings. Whatever the case is, she invited this many signups. 110 people signed up for it. I did not catch her show up rate, but let's just pretend it was 50% because that's kind of normal. So she invited people. She got anybody she could to these free trainings. And then she, at the end, made an offer because closed mouths don't get fed. And she launched a 197 cohort. She called it a lab, a Substack lab. And she also had a 197 VIP one-on-one call with her that she offered. She made $10,000 from that offer from stage virtually. Then 2 of those calls she had, those VIP calls, turned into another $3,500 each packages. Making sense? Yes, I'm seeing the chat blowing up. This is because the reason I'm pointing her out, and we have so many case studies like this, but I just wanted to tell you, like, Gail is 69. She has had an incredible life, an incredible success, but I think she would tell you, and she told us in our interview last year, she had not been living up to that potential more recently. And she just unlocked it because it's already there. She just unlocked it for herself. So I just want you to know that that is possible. Does that make sense? Let's give it up for Gail. I'm really proud of her. I'm gonna call out Lauren again. Lauren, would you mind coming up for a minute? She's gonna work out. So we had Lauren here. Want to grab the mic? We had Lauren here yesterday. Just for 2 seconds, I want to talk about this. So Lauren is an inner circle. You want to say your name and where you came in from?
I'm Lauren, and I came in from New Orleans.
And she was not
Louisiana.
expecting me to do this. I know. And she says she's in her inner circle where you get my phone number. You can text me. And she said we exchanged 2 text messages and she made $2,000 from the advice, right? Is that accurate? And then she said 3 days later, that's when you closed it and you got a 50% deposit, right? Do you want to say anything about that? I know we talked about it yesterday, but many people on this chat have not heard the story.
Yeah. I just felt like talking to you even through a text message just unlocked a lot for me, and questions that I had. You just broke through barriers and I felt more free, and I think it freed and my awareness to see opportunities I didn't know were there.
Yes. And is like having the text messages is like one of my favorite parts of Inner Circle, even though it takes a while for me to get back to people. Have you ever sent me a text? I don't know. How long did it take me to get back to you? You can be honest.
Yeah, I think it wasn't the same day for some of those texts, so it did take a while.
Takes a little while because I'm only me. So I say like up to a week is what I usually say. So my question is, what if you could talk to me anytime, 24/7, anytime you have an idea, anytime you have a question or a major business block? Is anybody interested in that? I'm looking at the chat too. And then we have a 7-second delay. What if you could talk to me? Well, guess what? You can. Woo! So you can now talk to me if you are tired of overthinking and under-earning. You can get Arlan's brain, which I don't know if you want all of it, because it's wacky up there. 24/7, and you can land your first or next $997 client in the next 30 days. And the 30 days is actually, the more people use it, the more I'm realizing that that is actually a very, very long timeline for what is actually happening. But I'm not going to change the copy because 30 days is great, but it's happening sooner for a lot of people. So it's trained on tens of thousands of hours worth of my one-on-one and group business consulting. It's like having me as a co-founder sitting right next to you. Lauren, you've been using this. You are a client of this. How are you feeling? Do you have to wait days to talk to me?
No, I love it. I was using it today. So
okay,
Yeah,
just mention a little bit about it because I'm going to bring a couple more people up who have used it. And if you want this, we can put this in the chat. Go to authorityxpro.com, authorityxpro.com. Please put in the chat. What is it like, or what have you been talking to about it, or anything you want to share? You don't have to say what the exact stuff.
Everything. No, I just like the fact that, because we can find your mini videos on YouTube, and there's a lot of those. So to find those, and you've even organized it where we can find them easier inside the groups.
Yeah.
But like if you're in all the groups and you're doing it, it helps me, instead of just, I was talking to someone about this. You always tell us about 50% learning and I think 50% implementation, and it helps me be able to implement, because instead of just searching for all of this stuff out there, now we have access to, like you said, kind of your brain, and it's just easier to get to the implementing. Yeah.
It's faster. I even say on the copy of the sales page, which, by the way, look at my sales page for, even if you're not going to get authorityxpro.com, look at the sales page and the copy and the order that I have everything, and think about how you can apply it to your sales pages, because I did it very purposely. But there's a part where I say 5 minutes to clarity, essentially, because it is that, like, you may have to wait a week or 3 days or whatever many hours to talk to me, even if you're in Inner Circle where you're paying thousands of dollars a year. But with this, you have the question, you get it answered. And it's not ChatGPT answering anything. It's trained on everything that I teach at the most elite, highest level, because it has more than just a few training documents. So some people might think, well, you have all these OSs, how is it different? This, I don't have in any OS all of my training, all of my one-on-ones, all of my one-to-many sales conversations that has been trained over 8 months, and that's how long it took to create this. So thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate you. Does anybody use authority? Yes, so we can give it up to Lauren. Thank you. Has anyone used Authority X Pro who wants to talk about it? Come on up, Adana. Thank you. See what the chat is saying. Oh, Evolve says, I used it last night and I have 2 sales calls booked next week from it. Did we plant her? Did we plant her? Yes, Evolve. I love that. Oh, that makes me so happy. Hey, Adana, how are you? It's good to see you. Yes. So who are you? What do you do? And what's your experience been with it?
Hi, I am Adana McCarthy.
Say your name. Say your name.
My name is Adana McCarthy.
Yeah. Is Aaliyah still here? Is she still here? Because she's still here. I'm sorry to hurt your ears like that. I feel like that's an insult to you.
I messed it up.
Go ahead, Adana.
So I help entrepreneurs who are stuck so they can get back into their bodies and unlock the next step.
Okay, and you're in Inner Circle as
Yes,
well.
ma'am.
All the
Yes,
things. And what has your and we did not plan for this. I'm honestly don't know what your experience has been. I got a testimonial from you a couple days ago, but I have no idea since then what's been going on.
Right. So I've been really focusing. So I had already trained my GPT to like think like you. Like,
Oh, okay.
So I was
Yeah,
already like
yeah.
using that.
Do that if you
And so I was like doing all this stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, Arlan makes direct offers and all this other stuff," but it wasn't like you. Like it was very close, in a lot of different ways. And but when I used Authority X, I had been already making a bunch of direct offers, and then I used it, and I was like, "Oh, there's an in-between offer." Like I had a high-end offer and a low offer, and I didn't have a middle offer.
Yeah.
And it gave me a middle offer that was really reasonable. I reached out to people right away. I was already in the flow of making direct offers. So like in the energy of just making a bunch of offers, I got a sale that day.
What? Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You know what? I'm tripping because I know that so much, but that's so cool. So that was the one that was in less than 60 minutes.
Yeah.
It was in less than. So you started using it. You're in Inner Circle. When you're in Inner Circle, in case you missed it yesterday, you get this included now in Inner Circle. And we only have 100 total spots. So if you want to be in Inner Circle, go to stan.store/Arlan for the last few seats. But you used it, and then something like 58 minutes, I think, is something. Like
Yeah, it was
later.
like within the hour.
Yeah, it was within the
I
hour.
had made a sale, and it was like the energy. For so much of it is energy. Sales is energy, and like if you are able to align yourself with, yes, I am aligning myself with my audience, I'm aligning myself with my message, and that Arlan's All Access Authority like just made me like that
She's
extra nudge.
She's giving it a new name.
I do.
It's Arlan's realistic powerhouse. Yes.
I'm really good at MSUing. I make stuff up all the time, but I
Oh,
also
MSU.
do.
I like
Yeah,
that.
it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
No, but what's more important is that you use it. Now, answer me this, because some people are going to use it. It's like a chat. You can chat. Oh, let me do a pause. Okay. If you were here yesterday in our 360, etc. bonus day, you may remember that there was a call to add a voice to text. At first, I did a pushback because I'm like, it's going to be technically difficult. Even though you can do it, it's more reason for it to break, and I want to keep it very simple. Someone in the chat said, disabled people, that's all I needed to hear. And I said, yes, we're doing it. Last night, with my eyes like this, I added the voice to text. Yeah, so it's available now. It had a little bit of a bug, but thank you to Lauren and to Katie for helping me fix the bug that it created. And I think we're good to go. And we now have that voice to text. When you'll see when you press the button, you can just talk into it, press it again, and then send it your way. And so it's even faster now if you don't have that already on your phone. So what do you think is how, like, some people are going to use it a couple of times, but some people are going to be power users. How do you foresee yourself using this? Because it's not, some people might think, well, I'll get an answer and then that's the answer, right? But I found myself, if you were here yesterday, you saw me open up my own Authority X Pro, and I have like 90 conversations with it, more than GPT. So how do you see yourself using it?
I see myself iterating. So like as soon as I get an answer, I might even plug the answer back into Arlan's and be like, is this really the right answer? Try to tailor it in and like lock it in. And just keep honing how I think about sales, how I think about conversations that I'm having, how I'm thinking about my offers.
Yeah.
you said sales is a skill, and I'm using it to hone my sales skills.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to use this opportunity to say, I didn't introduce it. So introducing Authority X Pro, my brain, my frameworks, 20 plus years of experience, accessible to you instantly. And hopefully some of you have been able to go to the website. But I want to say this, and I want to make this kind of clear if you don't mind staying here. Okay, so there are going to be a lot of people who feel like, oh, one more thing to buy, or I have to have this, or I don't have it. You have everything you need without this. You have everything you need. You have a classroom in your first 5K that could be sold for thousands of dollars. It is free. So please, please use the classroom, use the community to talk to each other, use the free YouTube channel, use what's in 360 if you want to elevate, because if you've gone through that and you want some more tools and you want weekly coaching with me in group style, that's 360 Pass, right? So there's so much in free or lower ticket, as they call it, right? So think, and by the way, anyone here, when this goes out, it doesn't go out to the audience. So that's why we keep talking. Don't think, oh, I have to have this. This is for people who, it definitely helps you create an offer. It definitely helps you at the earliest stages. But what I found is that it's most helpful for people who already have at least sold something. And they're trying to optimize, they're trying to go to that next level. So usually it's even for people who are beyond their first 5K anyway. So I don't want a lot of FOMO for this, but you know who you are if you're like, yeah, the curriculum is helpful and it's gotten me to a certain place, but I want to I want to turbocharge that. This is where you go. So I want everybody to feel like you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay? All right. Cool. Any last words before we switch over?
No, this has been phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Now, do we have one more person who would like to come up who has used authorityxpro.com? One more person. I know several people have. Anybody? Come on, Kathy. I stared at her long enough. She's like, she's going to keep staring at me, aren't you? Let's give it for Kathy. See? The reason I want you, Kathy, and I'm going to be real, Kathy doesn't play around. Like, Kathy's not going to like shine me. Nobody is, right? You know what I'm saying? But she's not going to shine us on. She's going to be like, no, this is what I really think about. At the top, yeah. Click it up. Yeah.
Hello. Okay.
So who are you? What do you do?
My name is Kathy Mallers. I own after using Authority X Pro, I help service businesses elevate to a point where they're more profitable.
Oh, is that what that taught you?
It helped
That's so
me.
cool.
I was like, I'm overwhelmed. I've got so much going on.
You type that in.
I
Yeah.
literally typed it in.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I would really like to be able to do this in voice. So I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
But I was really, really overwhelmed with, 360 and then Inner Circle. And then I'm running an accounting and bookkeeping business. It's tax season. I want to do things.
You need things now.
Yeah. And I don't want to have to monitor everybody.
Yeah.
And so what I did was like, I'm overwhelmed. Here's my website, the landing page website that I had you guys build for me. My business.
You say you guys, it was me. It was me on Lovable.
Well, you and all your AU. Why, thank you, Arlan. I appreciate
No,
you
I just
so
want to make
much.
sure like there's no
Yeah.
like big team behind it going. I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
now, you know?
But it was, it was like, and it's a great Lovable page, but I also had it look at my business website and my LinkedIn, because that's really where posts get focused for me.
Mm.
And what I wanted was just a small step, because I am so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I've only done like 2 chats so far. And my initial chat came out with an answer that I didn't like. So I was like, okay, let me be more clear, but I want to do this in a separate chat, because my experience with ChatGPT and Claude and everything is if you keep going in the same chat, it just seems like a
It learns.
never ending. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I started a new chat and said, okay, let me be clear. Here's what's going on. I'm overwhelmed. I need you to evaluate my website, my landing page, and my LinkedIn, because that's where I focus. And it came back with, here's how everything's going to go. And, you know, it really does sound like you, because the first thing it said was, okay, we're going to start with everything's coming through YouTube, but we're going to focus on pushing to LinkedIn
Yeah.
and utilize that in a better way.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I had to change was just the description of what I do on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And that I did 2 days ago. And since then, I've had like 6 people want to connect with me. So,
Come on.
so it was just clarity.
Come on.
Yeah. It's crazy.
One thing I forgot to mention yesterday is that when you first log in,
Mm.
you go through a few things where you can plug in your information.
Yeah.
And then you have a persistent memory that you can edit and
which
go
is
through.
my favorite part.
Okay,
Like
okay.
because I clicked on the memory because I'm like, I want to see what's up.
Yeah.
And as we know in other AIs, you have to literally go in and add that
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But your memory, you just see every piece of memory that it copies.
Yeah.
So
And you can delete it if you want. Like if you don't
yeah,
want
and you,
something,
and you can be like,
yeah.
that's not quite right.
Yeah.
And you can edit it.
Yeah.
I loved that piece.
Okay.
That was amazing for me.
Oh, awesome.
So
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is not
Well,
what I meant.
Let me tell you why that happened. So I used it for so long. I used it and I made money from it. I made money from me talking to me and teaching me. And everything, you know, when you're building, and we'll talk to Sam about this later, but when you're building and you're using your own product, you notice the things that you would want. And it's like, well, if I want this in something else, why don't I just make it here? That's been my whole career. I want to see it in the world. Why don't I just make it?
Yeah.
And so that's when I'm like, oh, not only do I want there to be a memory, which is kind of a much more complex thing to do on. This is not something I can give you a prompt and you can make it unlovable. This is an 8-month process that I went through. But one of the things I wanted was for it to truly learn you over time. And it said something to me this morning. It was so funny. Like I started a chat and I was asking about something. I forgot. No, I put the word test in because I was testing the mic issue that was happening. And I pressed return and I was like, I wonder what it's going to say. It said test. It said, okay, it sounds like you're testing something, but we're all good here on Authority X Pro because it knows it's mine, that I built it. We're all good here. We're ready for your first million live attendees. We're ready for them to come in. Like it
I
was
love that.
so crazy. And I was
Yeah.
like, you remember that? You my boy. Now you remember that. I guess you my girl. I guess because it's me. I don't know.
That's up to
Yeah.
that's you. I don't know.
You my boo. Yes.
I hope that's not your
Okay.
only boo. but
Well, thank you
whatever.
so much. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Kathy.
thank
Anything
you.
else you want to say about it?
I think the beauty of it is it's just like what you do. It's simplistic and very direct without being confusing on
Yeah.
taking next steps.
Oh, wonderful.